Another man, Imam Muhammad ibn Munkandir, as narrated by Ibn Jawzi in Sifatu Safwa, and Imam al-Dhahabi in Siyar A'lam Nubala, he says about the biography of Imam Muhammad ibn Munkandir. He says that the people of Medina, the people of the city of the Prophet ﷺ, for 1 year they had no rain. A full year they had no rain. The people they come out, the ulama, the ubbad, the fuqaha, all of them they make dua to Allah Azza wa Jal, and there is no rain. There is no rain. Says Muhammad ibn Munkandir, one day I was praying in the mosque of the Prophet ﷺ after the Isha. He says, as I'm sitting on a column, I see a man, a black man, come into the mosque. He says this black man, he prays 2 rak'ah. Therein, he raises up his hands and he says, Ay Rabb, Ay Rabb. Oh my Lord, oh my Lord. The people, لَقَدْ خَرَجَ أَهْلُ حَرَمِ نَبِيِّكَ يَسْتَسْقُونَ فَلَمْ تُسْقِهِمْ. The people of the city of your prophet came out to ask you for rain, and you did not give them rain. Ya Allah, uqsimu alayk lama saqaytahum. Oh Allah, I swear upon you that you shall give them rain. Muhammad ibn Munkandir, he said to himself, Majnoon! Said this man is crazy. Majnoon, he has lost his mind. Then he says, Muhammad ibn Munkandir, Wallahi, he did not keep down his hands except the clouds filled up and it started raining. Therein, he started praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with words of praise that I've never had the like of before. He prayed the Qiyamul Layl, he prayed the Rak'atain before Fajr, he prayed Fajr, and he left the mosque. I tried to follow him, but I could not see where he went to. I waited for him the second night. I sat in my same spot in the mosque of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. He says that this man, he came, he prayed, and he made dua, and he performed the Qiyamul Layl, and he prayed the Rak'atay al-Fajr, and he prayed the Fajr prayer, and he left. I followed him until I knew that is his house. That is his house. He says the next, in the morning, about mid-morning, I went to his house, and I found him outside his house, فَإِذَا هُوَ بِإِسْكَافٍ, and he was a cobbler. He was mending shoes. He saw me, he told me, Ya Abu Abdullah, ma hajatuk? Oh Abu Abdullah, how can I assist you? Of what help can I be to you? I looked at him and I said to him, Alasta sahibi al-barihat al-ula? Are you not my companion the previous night? There in this man, his face, the color changed, and he became very angry and agitated. وَمَا ذَاكَ وَمَا بِكَ يَا Muhammad al-Kandir? And what do you want of that affair? It does not concern you. Talk up, get out of here. He got very agitated. Muhammad al-Kandir, he says, I feared for myself and I left. He says, I went to the mosque, I prayed as usual. At Isha time, I pray, I wait for this man to come. He did not show up. I said to myself, Subhanallah, ماذا صنعت? Subhanallah, what have I done? He says, the next morning I went to the place and he had already gone. I asked his neighbors, where is this man that was here? They asked me, what was happening between you and this righteous man yesterday? For immediately you left, he packed up his belongings and he ran away. Brothers in Islam, such are the people whose dua is accepted by Allah Azza wa Jal. They do not want to show themselves in society that, my dua is accepted by Allah. They don't want to show themselves. They want this relation to be hidden, to be between them, a secret between them and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Between them and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Brothers in Islam, we have seen clearly from these stories on our history that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answers the du'as. He responds to the du'as. You have one of the greatest scholars of Islam in history. The Quran of Allah Azza wa Jal is the most authentic book. The second most authentic book is the book of Sahih Bukhari, written by the Imam Muhammad ibn Ismail ibn Ibrahim al-Bukhari. This man, he was born in the year 194 of the Hijri calendar. His father died, hence he was an orphan. When he was 3 years old, he lost his eyesight. His mother became very sad, very distraught, and started crying every time to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Every night she performs the Qiyamul Layl and cries to Allah, Oh Allah, return the sight of my son back. One day as she is sleeping, she sees a dream, the Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. The Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam says to the mother of Imam Bukhari, Ya hadihi, qad radda Allahu basara ibnaki bikathrati du'aik. Says the Prophet Ibrahim to the mother of Muhammad of Bukhari, Allah has returned the sight of your son. She goes, she checks, and indeed the site of Imam Bukhari was brought, and she took great care and upgrading of this man until he became the greatest scholar of hadith, not only of his time, but of entire Islamic history. Of entire Islamic history. You have one of the greatest leaders of the Muslims, a person called Nuruddin Mahmud Zanki. We Muslims, we know Salahuddin al-Ayyubi, the one who was victorious in Jerusalem and brought Al-Quds back to the fold of the Muslim Empire. However, if there was no Nuruddin Zanki, there will be no Salahuddin Ayyubi. Salahuddin Ayyubi, everything that he does goes back to the thawab of Nuruddin Zanki Mahmud. One day, in the lands of Sham, he meets the Crusader army, a large army of crusaders, and the Muslims were very few. He stood up on the hill of Harim. This is the Sultan of the Muslims. Look how he disgraces himself, humbles himself, disgraces himself before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He raises up his hands and he says, Allahumma ha'ulahi abiduka wa hum awliya'uk wa ha'ulahi abiduka wa hum a'da'uk Allahumma ansur awliya'ak ala a'da'ik. He says, Oh Allah, these slaves of yours are your servants, are your worshippers. These slaves of yours on this other side are your slaves, but they're your enemies. Oh Allah, give victory to your servants over your enemies. He continued, he said, Allahumma ansur dinak wa la tansur Mahmuda wa mal Mahmudu al-kalbu hatta yunsar. He used a very bad word. He said, Oh Allah, save your religion. Do not bother about Mahmud. And who is Mahmud, the dog, until he is saved? Look at this, the leader of the Muslims, the wide lands, but he disgraces himself, he humbles himself before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted the Muslims victory, and they conquered the lands of Asham and Egypt, and they remained in the fold of the Muslim empire.